Now that we've had a chance to become familiar with AutoCAD's basic interface, let's take a moment to play around and scribble with some of the different draw tools and explore a few modified tools in brief. I'm going to start by clicking Start Drawing, and I'm brought into the AutoCAD application so that I can draw. Here I'm going to simply click the first button, Line. You'll notice down here in the command line that it's asking me for a first point. I can pick that first point by clicking, and then it says specify next point. I can click that point by clicking as well. I continue doing this until I get bored of drawing lines, and since I'm just scribbling, not much to do here, I'd like to stop drawing lines. Now, how to do that? I'm going to hit the escape key to end the command. Let's take a look at one other tool in the draw menu. Let's take a look at the circle tool. If I click circle, it will ask me down in the command line, specify the center point. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to specify a point by clicking. Then it asks me to specify a radius. Now you'll notice it starts measuring that radius directly from the center point. So I click again. That command finishes automatically. If I'd like to repeat, I have several options. I can hit spacebar or the enter key, and then click another center point and another radius. Everything on the screen is called an object. Let's see if I can do something to these objects that I've drawn. If you want to move one of these objects, there are many ways to do this. I'm going to start with the move command. I click the move button. It asks me to select objects. Now AutoCAD will do this every time you start a modify. It will ask you to select an object. So I pick an object, and you'll notice down in the command line it says again, select objects. So I could continue to select objects, and it will continue to ask me, select objects. What I need to do is say I am done selecting objects, and the way to do this is to hit enter. Now it asks me for a base point. A base point is the point that you will grab these objects by. It can be anywhere on the screen. Oftentimes it's best to pick a point that's near the object, or even on the object, or in a specific location. But for right now I'm just going to pick a point on the screen. I'll pick a random point down here. Now what you'll see is that as I move these objects, they move based on that point that I selected, and that orange dashed line that's appearing, that is telling me how far I'm going. It's asking me down here in the command line now for a second point, and when I click a second point it will relocate those objects based on the relationship of the base point to the second point. So that's how we move. Let's take a look at one other way that we can operate on these objects. I'm going to want to delete something. So if I select an object by clicking on it, I can then hit the delete key, and those objects will disappear. That's just a very brief introduction to the way that AutoCAD behaves. It wants you to pick a command, it wants you to enter some information, and then it wants you to hit enter.